Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Amrita Devi Foundation talk show, Stories That Matter. My name is Mayank Ahuja, and I'll be with you for the entire session, and I'll be your host for the day. We are here to discuss CSR and employee engagement and how organizations can inspire their people to become true change makers. Joining me is Ms. Gauri Das, an accomplished HR leader whose insights on purpose-driven workplaces have inspired many. Thank you, Ms. Gauri, for being us today.
Thank you, Mayank and Amrita Devi Foundation for having me here. Looking forward to an interesting discussion.
Thank you, Ms. Gauri. So before we start, I would request Ms. Vishakha to play the Amrita Devi Foundation video.
Hi, I am Amrita Pandey, Country Head of Amrita Devi Foundation. We believe that empowerment begins with opportunities. Our mission is to equip women and youth with skills, restore our environment and uplift the communities. Through education, employment and environmental action, we are building a self-reliant and sustainable future.
सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट को हैंडल करना, उसमें किस तरीके से एक स्टार्टअप बिजनेस को हम ग्रो कर सकते हैं, वो चीज़ें, सॉफ्ट स्किल्स एंड पर्सनल स्पीक इन पब्लिक, सो मेनी थिंग्स वी आर लर्निंग फ्रॉम. एंड आई लाइक टू थैंक अमृता देवी फाउंडेशन जिन्होंने महिलाओं की एजुकेशन के लिए, उनके स्किल डेवलपमेंट के लिए इतना सराहनीय योगदान दिया है.
सबसे पहले मैं अमृता देवी फाउंडेशन का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहती हूँ. फिर मैं गोविंद सिंह नेगी जी का भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहती हूँ, जिन्होंने हमें 6 महीने फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट सिलाई सीखने का मौका दिया, जिससे अब हम अच्छे से सिलाई सीखकर अपने खुद के कपड़े और आस पास पड़ोस रिश्तेदारों के कपड़े सिलकर बेनिफिट कमा पा रहे हैं.
When women grows, communities flourish. Our training programs are designed to bridge the gap between education and employability, ensuring every woman and girl can stand on her own feet with pride.
आज के दिन तो एक जो सपना देखा गया था उससे आप एक शेप में होते हुए देख सकते हैं.
के साथ रिखानी गांव जो कि अल्मोड़ा में स्थित है वहां पे पहुंचा. अमृता देवी अर्थ केयर की तरफ से जो कार्य पर्यावरण के लिए किया जा रहा है उसका एक जायजा हमने यहाँ पे लिया. मुझे ऐसा लगा कि एक ऐसा काम कर रहे हैं कि जो सिर्फ पर्यावरण के साथ साथ जो यहाँ के रहने वाले हैं उनको भी इकोनॉमिकली सपोर्ट करें। ये जो मेरे पीछे आप देख रहे हैं, ये एक चंदन का वृक्ष है। कभी सोचा नहीं होगा कि चंदन के वृक्ष उत्तराखंड में भी इस तरह से लगाए जा सकते हैं, बट ये जो मुहिम चलाई है, जहां लोगों को एक दिशा दी गई है कि वो चंदन के पेड़ लगाएं, पर्यावरण की तरफ है ही जो सपोर्ट उसमें मिलेगा, बट इकोनॉमिकली ऑल्सो इट विल हेल्प द पीपल दोज हु आर रिसाइडिंग इन दिस एरिया।
मेरा नाम सुनीता मेहता है, मैं ग्राम रिखाणी से हूँ और हमें आज अमृता देवी फाउंडेशन द्वारा धुआं रहित चूल्हे मिले। हम इनका प्रयोग करेंगे तो हमें धुआं नहीं लगेगा और जिससे हमारा स्वास्थ्य ठीक रहेगा। अमृता देवी फाउंडेशन का धन्यवाद करती हूँ जिन्होंने हमें धुआं रहित चूल्हे दिए।
Our work being recognized by the leading organizations. We have been awarded as the Best NGO in 2021 by the GNE Awards, and our commitment to excellence has earned us the Incredible Workplaces Gold certification. Our partnership with ICO India Services Private Limited, Express IT, Sharp, and other leading organizations continue to strengthen our impact. So, together we can build a future where every woman is skilled, every tree is nurtured, and every life is transformed. Be a part of this change. Visit our website, follow us on social media, and join hands with Amrita Devi Foundation today.
Great. Miss Gauri?
Yes.
Yeah. Welcome, Miss Gauri, once again. So let's start the questions. Yeah.
Sure.
Yes. Great. So, Miss Gauri, so CSR is no longer just a compliance activity these days. It has evolved into a culture building tool. We can see that employees today seek meaning in their work. And of course, I can see that CSR offers the purpose. So tell me, Ms. Gauri, how do you see the connection between CSR and employee engagement?
Yeah, thanks for asking this. And I think you are a live example of how CSR connects with your purpose, because you are in a full-time role and you are here supporting the community. So maybe not directly with your employer, but even beyond that, you want to do that, right? So it's an example that how it happens. But if I talk about my own journey, so I started my journey with leave and attendance management, and towards the end of the month, the last week of the month, I would be very happy because everyone will approach me and ask me, ensure that no leave deduction is happening or no leave without pay is happening. So I would feel very, very happy and think that I'm contributed something in the organization. But barring that 1 week, I would be like, what am I doing? What is the purpose? Even if somebody gets a leave deduction, they are going to get it adjusted next month. So I did not have any purpose for my role, and there was no one to tell us, right? But if I look back and see that even HR operations is a critical thing for any organization, because if salary is delayed or salary is incorrect, the employee is not going to be happy, employee is not going to be engaged, no matter what other means you are utilizing, right? So even HR operations becomes my purpose, and that's the power of purpose, because after I understood this, I explain it to now my team, whosoever is working with me, and they realize that they are contributing so much towards the organization. So just like this example, CSR also, because where is my company spending money? What is it that I am getting through the organization? All this I want to know as an employee. I also want to contribute towards it. So CSR plays a critical role in employee engagement, because what we call as self-fulfillment may not be coming directly from the work fully, but if I get engaged into volunteering work, or if I see that through my organization somebody else's life is changed, I would be extremely happy. So it brings in purpose, because I also want to help society. I want to do something beyond work, which is pro bono, and that's why the connect is very, very high. And we see it in the example of how people connect, how people show up when there is a CSR activity, or how do they volunteer. how do they volunteer not only with the organization but beyond also. So extremely high on this, and I would say for Gen Z, this is even more important because they may use it as a factor. Also, various surveys have shown that if an organization is purpose driven, they buy more, they want to work for them more. So it's overall a very high connect.
That's excellent. First of all, thank you so much for taking my name also. Of course, I'm also a volunteer. I feel good. I have also tried to find some purpose through Amrita Devi Foundation. So thanks. And of course, as you said very rightly, that employees want to contribute more, something for the society, and that is something that gives them the feeling of fulfillment as well. Great, great. So Ms. Gauri, so at times we have seen, or once we have gone through some multiple researches, and the researchers show that organizations linking CSR with engagement often see higher retention. They see stronger motivation and better alignment with especially the young talent expectations. So, what benefits do you think that you have observed in the practice?
Yes, I fully agree with this, and I would start from home again. I have a young daughter who is in 11th standard, and so far she has done volunteering at, I guess, 4 or 5 places. And I asked her, I mean, not very actively involved in other things, but why do you want to volunteer? And she's like, it gives me happiness. So if somebody, I mean, I'm talking about Alpha, but if we talk about Gen Z, they are also very highly connected to this. And if they see that there is an opportunity to give back, they come forward and they do that. In our times, the first thing was to get done something for yourself because we were living beyond below means. For them, they have seen everything and they are very sensitive towards it. So for Gen Z, for Alphas, the next generation that is coming into picture, it was very well. Even for us, I mean, the kind of happiness you get when you see someone transforming their lives, or say, for example, we did a project wherein we supported specially able people with employment opportunities. So we first trained them and then tried to, with best possible method, we tried to get employed through for them as well. This project was with teens. And in the process, when we went for the graduation ceremony and we heard them saying that we have got a job of 25,000 or 20,000, and we are so happy doing this, their whole family being there, they're talking to us, the sense of happiness is immense. And that's why it connects. And like I said, that's what we see, that people want to show up in certain events because they want to have that fulfillment, they want to have that happiness, and that's what connects. So I've seen that around 70 to 75% people definitely join one or the other event, and that's where you need to have a bouquet of events where people can connect. Some may connect with senior citizens, some may connect with kids, some may connect with women empowerment, some may connect with specially able people, some may connect with neurodiverse people. So if you have a bouquet of things where you can invite people, you will see that you will, and the bonds that get created when people come together and they talk about it, its value is very high. So I fully agree with this, that these things bring in fulfillment, these things bring in connect and engagement. And when somebody is thinking of exiting, they will definitely connect that would I get this fulfillment in my next role or not.
That's excellent. So that's very nicely, very beautifully. You have connected all the generations with CSR, including Gen Z, our generation, Gen Alpha, and of course, you said very rightly said that maybe different people may connect with different kinds of things. So that means some people may connect with women empowerment, some with oldies. So this is a nice thing. So of course, this is. I mean, it means that CSR is trying to cover as much as possible. As much as possible, ground is being covered by CSR. So pretty nice. So moving ahead, Ms. Gauri, so there are countless social issues these days, but employees connect best when the cause feels relevant to their lives or community, as you have just said. So what are the best ways of organization to select CSR causes that inspire real participation?
Yeah, very important, because if people are not aligned, then the engagement also would not be high, the connect would not be high, the purpose would not be achieved. So there are various challenges also when it comes to any initiative, including CSR, because you will have this much amount and you would want to do so much for the society. And that is always the intention. So here as well it happens. But you can have their voice. So you can have a committee of people who bring in the voice. That is point number one. You can have a survey where people directly talk about what best they would like to do or which area they would want to go for. You can understand from past trends. Data also will help here. Where are people aligned, more aligned, and which activity gave you the highest engagement or the survey feedback. That is also one of the ways of doing it. So ultimately, I would say having a guideline, because it becomes very tricky. It should not happen that you are doing CSR and it becomes employees benefit. That also should not happen, because there is a very thin line there and you have to be very careful about it. But having their say, understanding from them is very important. Then it would also happen that at times you may not hear a lot of voices about CSR, especially when you are beginning. People may not talk much about it because they don't have any experience. The second part can be that they talk a lot and they give you so many options that you get overwhelmed. Which one should I go for or which one should I not go for? So in that case, like I said, there can be a committee and the committee can choose from there. But the beginning point should be employee voices, and that's where the connect would come. Every time when there is a feedback, you have to go back and say, okay, we could not consider it this time, but it would be on our agenda. Or you may tell them that this may not be possible, but say if X point cannot happen, then maybe Y is the nearest thing for you. Say, for example, if neurodiverse project cannot happen, you can say people with special ability, in which you are considering special mental abilities also. So that's how you can connect, because like I said, there may be situation where you are overwhelmed, and there may be a situation. So that is solution for being overwhelmed, where there are so many options. Go back and tell them that this is what we are doing, this is what we can do next year, and this is how we are connecting with it with your purpose. Now, if you don't have any voices, then you can start with micro volunteering. You can start inviting people, one or two. You will always get some, like 80-20 always works. So you will get some. You can start storytelling. You can start connecting these people, and then you may see more voices. So to conclude, go to them. There should be a committee to decide. If you are overwhelmed, I told you. If you are not hearing anything, that also I told you. So that's what I would suggest.
Yeah, that's correct. So if I try to encapsulate your words over here, so I can see that we trust God, but for everything else we need data. So of course we need to collect data and then find different ways of doing the CSR activities, which can suit different people. So different people may like different things, and that is what you have said. And of course you had said that Pareto analysis work over here, that 80-20 rule. And if we bring in that, of course things are going to be uh, helping us. So great. So Ms. Gauri, moving forward, do you think that CSR should be a top-down initiative or an employee-led for maximum impact?
I think any change or anything new has to be a top-down initiative,
Right.
because leaders have to demonstrate. So if your organization is doing hundreds of CSR activities and you don't see leadership team anywhere, it is not going to do you any good, because then people will say that this is just an additional activity. This is not where leadership's heart is. And when you don't see leadership leading something, the value is lost. So it has to start from there. But like I said, the voices have to come from across the organization. So demonstration should be from leader. If there is a plantation drive, the first plant should be planted by your leadership team. You can do it reverse also, but they should be there. I mean, it's not that because of their leadership position they should be given first opportunity. What I'm trying to say is, if there is any initiative, they should be the first ones to take charge, because if people don't see that connect, then it becomes a useless thing for them. And that's why when there are town halls, then also leaders should talk about it. It should be talked through newsletters also. So there should be a lot of communication from leadership to show its value, because I believe nothing changes unless it is driven by leadership. But once it is driven, then it has to be run by or executed by the whole team. So though in beginning it would be a top down approach, but overall it has to be done by masses. Otherwise the results would not be seen. So it's a combination, but starting with leadership is what I would say.
Of course, leadership has its own role, very rightly said, they have to walk the talk. More communication is required from different angles, so that people get to hear from the leaders that yes, this is an important thing and they should be doing it. And of course, the top-down approach is going to work. So I think my next question was somewhat similar to this only. I'm sorry. And I think you've already answered that. And my question was that what role does leadership play in inspiring employees to become change makers? So I think you've already answered that question, right? But still, in case you have something more to add, so it will be great if you can add in that.
Yeah, sure. So I'll just cite an example that I heard. So when we started, people would ask who all are attending, and if you say CEO is attending, the attendance would be more, because people know this initiative is driven by CEO. It is like any other things, and I'm sure Mayank, you can relate as a HR professional, because whenever we try to bring in something new, the first question would be if it is a town hall and town hall is driven by MD or CEO, the attendance would be more. But if it is driven by a functional head, the attendance would not be that high. So
Yeah.
it's a general perception that people want to understand how important it is for the company first. And if it is important, then CEO is definitely going to talk about it. CEO is definitely going to be there. But I'm not saying that every initiative CEO has to be there. It is not practical, and then the value will also be diluted. So every initiative is to be driven by the CSR committee and people, but to start with, leadership team has to be.
That's correct. So, along with leadership, very rightly said, every initiative, yes, the CEO cannot come and showcase, but of course, in one or two initiatives, also, if the CEO has shown it, of course, that is going to work. But along with the leadership team or CEOs, do you think that HR teams can also add some value? So my question is that how can HR teams encourage participation from employees who are not naturally inclined towards volunteering or maybe social causes?
Yes, so HR plays a big role, and that's where we are talking about employee engagement, because engagement would not happen in isolation without HR. So HR plays a critical role here. I have seen many times the both the functions are with same head or under some same vertical, but even if the verticals are different, these two teams have to work together, because HR understands pulse of the employee. They, if HRBP is doing their role well, they would really know which employee in their unit connects with what purpose. So HR has that much data or that much information about their teams. And when you design the CSR initiatives, then you will definitely do the survey, but survey would never be fully responded. So you rely on HR, you rely on HRBP to understand their unit's data, and ultimately the connect is not very strong with CSR team. It's much more stronger with employee, with HR team, because HR is there from hiring till exit, and HRBP also connects very well. CSR team may not have that much bandwidth to connect with each and every employee. So the connect between the two is critical. If it is under same vertical, nothing like it, because then when you design your engagement calendar, you put in CSR initiatives also as an engagement activity, and that connects well, then when it comes to understanding the impact, that also would come in multiple places, and all those touch points would be available with HR, may not be available with CSR teams. So overall, the connect is extremely high with HR, and I would say it cannot be driven well without HR teams.
Excellent role of HR that you have just explained. You're absolutely right. HR BPs especially play a huge role over there. And along with HR BPs, of course, the analysis team, the HR head also plays a big role in getting these things done. So that's very nice of you to say. I feel very good when somebody says this, talks about the importance of HR, being an HR person. Great. So let's move forward. So candidates these days, especially millennials and Gen Z, often look for a purpose-driven workplace. So can CSR activities help in attracting and retaining top talent with this? If yes, then how?
Yes, I think
Yes,
it can be done. Yes,
yeah,
I
yeah, please
think
carry
yes, like we discussed that it's about purpose, and there will be some areas where you will see the incoming talent connecting. The point is, are you using technology well? Are you amplifying it? Because there are two thoughts on CSR. One school of thought is that you should not talk about what you are giving. That's Indian way of doing things, also Indian tradition also, that you do not want others to know what you have done. The second school of thought is that you should amplify it so that everybody gets to know, everybody gets encouraged
It
also.
gets encouraged. Yes.
Yeah, if they are doing it, why don't we also do it? And people get to know, like this video I saw today, I was not aware that they are growing chandan trees in Uttarakhand. So it's a moment of enlightenment for me that this is also possible. And the fact that they went back and checked, because most of the plantation drive would be like one time done and nobody goes back and checks. But we also do it, and that's why it connected very well to me, that somebody is going back and checking how the tree has grown. I think Govind was there and he was talking about it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yes, so how you are amplifying it? If you are talking about it, people will get to know. And there have been instances where candidates have asked me that are there any volunteering opportunities? People within the system have come forward and asked, can we do this? Can we bring in, and we do focus group discussions wherein many people have said, are there any volunteering opportunities beyond this? So then, basis that we have added something in the CSR calendar or initiatives. So, talking about it, leveraging technology will enable people. Do you put it on the website? There is a guideline also, but how much do you share? And how do you allow people to come forward and talk about it? I think social media also plays a very important role. So yes, there have been instances where people have come forward, asked, and I think that's why this also will have some weightage in attracting and retaining talent.
Very nice. Very nice. So, Miss, moving forward, many a times we see CSR looks good on paper. I've seen it multiple times in my previous years. CSR looks great on paper, but fails to engage employees meaningfully. So, in your view, what are some most common mistakes organizations make while linking CSR with the employee engagement?
Yes, a very important pointer, because it does happen. Just like any initiative where communication is missing, it happens. In CSR also there is disengagement when people do not know what exactly they are doing. So if you one fine day you just go there and announce that this is what we are going to do as an activity, people will consider it as another engagement activity, and it will not have the value a CSR initiative should have. The second thing is, like I said, and we discussed before, that leadership's presence is another important thing. The third one is not having any alignment with the purpose of people. So if you do just one project and it is aligned only to 10-15% percent people's purpose, you will see that it is not getting forward. Fourth is not amplifying it. So that's why HR needs to learn marketing, because, or CSR also needs to learn marketing, because whatever you are doing, you have to amplify, you have to tell people that this is what it is, and you don't go back with the outcomes. So many times people will talk about an initiative very much aligned to me. I would go, I will join, but later what happens, nobody tells me. There is no data to tell me what was the result. Say, for example, I talked about this specially abled people's employment and learning opportunity project. Therein, we went back and checked how many people were given employment, and that data was published to people so that they understand that the graduation ceremony they attended. After that, what happened, and even after that, 3 months post overall employment, we again went and checked. So, one would be to have an alignment, listen to their voices, have leadership's presence, communicate well, amplify it, and have a bouquet of offerings so that people can relate. So if you don't, and bring in data and also tell them what is the outcome, what was the result of the particular initiative. If you don't do these, then the initiatives would not have the impact you would want, or they have the potential to have.
That's correct. That's correct. So, of course, the impact is also required to be seen, and required impact is also required to be shown to everyone. So, once people see the impact, then only they are then only they are also going to take initiative, or at least they are going to think of taking more initiatives, and that is how it is going to. Of course, and you very rightly said that HR should learn to uh, learn the marketing thing, of course, branding thing, selling thing, so everything, of course, because HR they say at times that HR is the backbone of the organization, so which means that HR should learn these things. And not only that, they should practice it as well. Marketing, they should market their activities as well, so that people get to know. And of course, that will not only enhance the impact of CSR, it will not only increase the people getting into adding to the CSR activities, it is also going to enhance the importance of HR teams as well. So that is and impact of HR team as well. So thanks, Miss. So moving forward, impact, as we said, that impact is often hard to quantify. So while participation rates, as we say that, of course, the data part. So while participation rates and feedback are obvious measures, how can organizations truly evaluate CSR effect on morale and productivity?
Yeah, so there is no one formula for it, but yes, there are various things that you can do. One would be looking at the participation rate, how many people are actually participating in activities, and they show up whenever there is some event. That is a very good indicator of overall initiative is which direction your initiative is going. The second one is the participation rate in surveys. When you ask which activities or which areas we should pick up as a CSR, how many people are actually responding to. If there is a good percentage, then people are interested in sharing their voices, because if they think that my opinion is of no value, they are not going to share their opinion. The third one would be post implementation. When you go back and ask them how was the overall experience, how many people are actually responding to it. Then the fourth one would be the qualitative feedback, which will not only show in the survey but throughout the year. You talk to people, HRBP talks to people, and they will come back and say, "Oh, this was a kind of very I would say engaging event," or "I was moved," because I have heard some such statements wherein people say, "I was moved being there." I felt so emotional. People go crying also sometimes when there are initiatives which are very close to them. These are like happiness. They express happiness through those emotions. So all this, the qualitative feedback, the quantitative feedback, the survey before and survey after, it can have some correlation about, if you do stay interviews, it may have some correlation about your attrition as well. While it's difficult to establish it in the beginning, but later on you may have a pointer about is the organization's purpose beyond company or through CSR helping you get retained. If you ask something like this in the stay interviews, you will get to know. And finally, the exit interview data would also be there, because you may ask what are the top three things which help you, and this may show up there. So it would be a combination of qualitative and quantitative things. You may have later on a correlation on the attendance percentage as well. So it can connect, but yes, it is a long way to go. If you start thinking that all these parameters would come in first year, it may not happen. Slowly, as you progress with your CSR initiatives, these things will start showing up. But yes, it is fully possible to measure the impact. You are on mute, man.
I'm sorry. So you mean to say that we have to do something that we do in the trainings? So we have to identify, we have to action, we have to take feedback, we have to take feedback analysis, and then of course we have to see the impact. So once these things are done, of course things will be a little better. We'll have a better impact of the CSR activities. So this is how I encapsulate. Please tell me if it's correct or wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we have the 4 or 5 step model in training. Here also it is similar, but I would also say through my experience that there will be people who may not be interested at all, and I think
Yes,
pushing something would not be a very good idea here, because
correct.
yes, we can train also. That is another way of doing it. That we can train people, showcase it, story tell it. But pushing someone for this may not be a very good idea, because this is something which comes from within. This is my opinion.
Correct.
While we train, we educate, but we don't push in the beginning. Later on, they may come along. There may be teams wherein they are connected and they show up just because their team is going. So some indirect nudge may work, but I would not suggest that we push someone. Yes.
Right. So moving forward, Miss Gauri, So employees who participate in CSR generally have seen that they have often stronger bonds with the sense of pride. So have you noticed any clear differences in engagement levels between these two kind of groups?
Yeah, so directly talking about the company data would be difficult, but yes, from my experience and from overall industry, I would say that definitely there is a connect. Like we discussed, that there is purpose, my voice. I want to feel that happiness. The Gen Z wants to give it back, and overall, I want to do something beyond work, volunteering. I want to have that. And if I talk about my personal journey as well, I have volunteered at many places. I still do. I do pro bono coaching. So it's about giving back. And ultimately, if I get those opportunities, it becomes a pointer for me to stay back. If when I'm analyzing, should I move for this reason or that reason, this would also show up as a reason. So, and why not? Because some organizations take it to the next level wherein they invite even families of employees for CSR initiatives. So the bond becomes stronger and stronger with each and every initiative, and there becomes the deep connect, because when you do projects year on year and people see, say if you adopt a school and you support that school on year, and you see students growing from standard first to now they are engineers, doctors, CAs, or they are doing something great in their careers despite all the challenges, you feel it was because of me. I also contributed toward the money that the profits that organization got, and they could spend it. I volunteered my time to educate them. So ultimately, the bond becomes very, very strong. I fully agree with that.
Right, right. It's, I mean, when it is always good. So when people are associated with a bigger purpose, they of course are more productive. So be it the profit of the organization or be it the impact of the CSR activities. So very rightly said, Miss. So CSR is generally, I mean, we have seen, of course, some percentages there, some percentage of profit has to be there. So I mean, these are the kind of things that, of course, that are associated with it. But then CSR is often associated with big budgets, but even small companies can make a difference. So what do you think that how can small or mid-sized companies with limited resources create meaningful CSR activities or campaigns?
Yes, because when you start, you may not be very big. You may not have a large chunk of money to spend. You can still make a difference. So, how people do it is bringing in NGOs, partnering with NGOs who are doing something great, and you contribute as one part of it. Then you connect with other organizations who are, there are people who raise funds for CSR within their own organization also. You can connect with those organizations, the CSR fundraising arm, and you can connect with them, you can work with them. That is another thing. You can start something which is very close to your vicinity, which can be done in smaller sum, and you can build that from there. And who stops you from putting in even more amount from your own funds? Because if you don't have even the substantial number, you may not see any impact in the beginning. So maybe to substantiate that, you can add it. So I think these three, four things can be done. One is working with NGOs, because they are working for many organizations. You can work with them. Second is organizations are raising new funds. You can connect with them and work with them. Say X organization, not NGO. I'm talking about the organization CSR arm. When they are doing something, they need money. You can do something in your vicinity. Say. Hospital or a school where a small fund also would make some impact, because it is all about impact. It's all about what changed, what transformed, how many people got benefited. So you can do that, and in the beginning you may have to put in additional money, and that should also be taken as a, while it is difficult to show the tangible benefit, but you may connect, correlate it with the purpose, with the employee engagement, with attraction, with retention. So ultimately, it's a benefit. So that's all. These four things I would suggest that small organizations can do.
That's great, Miss. Multiple ways that you have just told us, getting connected to NGOs or maybe do something in the vicinity. So of course, so once people get to know about it, or once people hear, of course, this podcast, this LinkedIn live session, they are definitely going to be. It is definitely going to be helpful for them as well. Great, miss. So now comes a very important or maybe interesting thing, and that is technology. So in today's digital world, we can see that employees often share their CSR experiences online, as we just discussed, to amplify both impact and of course motivation. So how do you see technology and social media supporting CSR and engagement?
Yes, a lot. I'm sure Amrita Devi's employees are extremely engaged and they feel the purpose because the video showcased what all work they are doing and it was moving. It was telling that how many things they are doing through Amrita Devi Foundation and people get impacted positively by these stories. So showcasing it here on the social media, they must be showcasing it in the office also. So there can be a display board where all your CSR numbers, your CSR initiatives, more than numbers, it is these are the pictures or the emotional connect that works better when it comes to CSR. So you can have a display board. You can have it displayed every time you are showcasing something like Amrita Devi has done it very well. So that is another thing. Then the data collection technology helps there as well. You can dissect the data in any format. You can analyze it very well because those tools are available. Then you can have the survey feedback also. The technology helps there as well. So I think technology plays a very important role. But yes, like I said, there are two schools of thought. So which one you want to do? Okay, when you post something on social media on your page, and your friend comes on your page and says that it's great to see you doing something for the society, the sense of pride is immense and you feel moved by it. You feel I should do it even more. So that is also one way of influencing people and broadcasting it and amplifying it, because if you're doing something good, technology and social media are going to be very helpful in amplifying, talking about it, understanding, because somebody may not have time to dissect the whole feedback and present it, but technology does it very quickly, and you get the even up till the last leg of data, you can get the insights from it. So very helpful.
That's correct. So of course, what I understand from you is that we have to just go all guns, and we have to display everything on social media. Of course, that display, there has to be a display board. There might be some dashboard. We have to collect data from there. We have to showcase pictures, more visibility as much as possible. And for data collection, I don't know whether I use that word, use that line or not, but we all trust God. For everything else, we need data. So once we collect that data, of course, then we'll have that will give us more power to perform, to create more impact. That's correct, Miss. That's correct, Miss Gauri. So if CSR is woven into daily routines like sustainability practices or maybe volunteer hours, it becomes a part of the culture. So how can organizations achieve this integration? Or
Yes.
in
So that,
words, I can say, okay, please go ahead.
yeah, please tell me.
I said in different words, if I can say that, how can CSR be integrated into day-to-day work rather than just being treated as a separate activity?
Yeah, so I think that's the highest level of CSR, integrating in everything that you do. So now ESG and CSR are also connected. When you talk about CSR, you pick up something which is related to environment. So that's where your E parts come into picture. The social part is always there. You run an organization, you run a society, whatever, wherever you are, the social part is there. So do you only promote women empowerment or other genders, or you do initiatives through CSR, or you actually live by it? That is another thing which you can showcase. And finally, governance is critical for sustenance also. So you can correlate with ESG with CSR. Whatever you do, you connect it to the three elements of ESG, and they automatically become one or the other part of the CSR initiative. So if you only do it for utilizing the funds that you have to, because you have to showcase it to the government, it is not going to have much impact. And that's where the full-time volunteering also comes into picture. And I've seen people having roles only in volunteering. So somebody wants to do it just for a year, and they are on the payroll of the organization, but they go out and work for projects like Teach India or any other foundation where their heart is, and they are allowed to do it. Besides, if it is not possible with the scale of the organization that you may have some people doing just this for a year or so, you may allocate a few weeks time. Many organizations do that as well, that in a week you are allowed to do these many hours of volunteering, or you can go for a yearly or monthly pay. uh, Even that is possible. So some contribution has to come, but again, organizations are the primary objective is to make money, because if you make money, then only CSR is going to happen next year, right? Because it's all about profits. So the employee and the employer have to have this bond, this connect, that while these things are happening, they may not directly impact the work. So having managing it well is what I would say. So these are some of the methods where the organizations can do it. The first thing would be to live by it, not do it just to spend money. And second, there are various means through which you can support the employee, and in turn, employee also supports, because you get that fulfillment, and for that you support the organization. Ultimately, it's about having money as well.
That's correct. That's correct. So first of all, this entire model is that only once you earn money, you do business, you earn money, and then of course some portion of your money you should spend in that. So of course that is the entire model, and of course very rightly said that only uh, the focus should not only be on the spending money, but we have to find value in that also, and we have to create value out of that also. Also the organization. Very nicely said, Miss. So now is the time for some real life examples, Miss. So stories generally often inspire more than statistics that we can see, of course. So, can you share some real life examples where CSR initiatives have significantly transformed employee engagement in the organization?
Yeah, so I'm proud to say that our engagement percentage are at around 80%. And like I cited in between, that um, there have been instances where people have had those the tears of happiness. They when they see kids around, and they celebrate some festivals with them. They engage with them even beyond that. They say their see their creativity. It connects. When it comes to say environmental initiatives, you go back and you check, because we put name boards against each plant that we are planting, and we go back and check, oh, my plant has grown to this level. You feel very very happy, and you can go back and check it anytime. That's what we try to do. So that also connects a lot, that my plant is fruiting now. So no better happiness than seeing it, that what you planted is now bearing fruits. Talking about other initiatives also, so I've seen people moving very very highly, showing up each and every year for the initiative, and also sharing their feedback, that this is how I was moved, or this is how I felt. I never got, so some sentences I will bring in which people have spoken, that I never felt something like this. I never thought that with a full time job I can have satisfaction like this, because I volunteered, I taught them, I spent my time with them. Sometimes it's just being there with them, right? If, say, for example, if we talk about initiative of senior citizen, it's more about being with them. Somebody said, I'm remembering so much my mom who died years ago, and now that I'm here. So many such stories, and people also appreciate that the other side may not be as capable as us, but the fight they have taken up is like immense respect to them. And the final thought is gratitude for whatever we have. So from giving to now understanding that today whatever we have, we are blessed. All this spectrum of emotions, all this spectrum of connect I have seen. And that's why I'm saying that the engagement ratios are also very high. So we have seen a very high connect for these initiatives.
Great, great. I can see that you have said that 80% retention is of course, it is a significant retention. And I also have a point over here. Many people, there are most of the people who actually want to do something, but they don't have time. They don't know where to go about it, what to do, how to add value to the society. When organizations come up with these kind of initiatives, CSR activities, then probably they, once they are doing that, they get that sense of feeling. And of course, they, you, as you said, that people get emotional, people feel, they at times they weep, they cry, and then of course they feel that yes, this is what they should have been doing earlier, and or maybe now is the time, or this is the organization wherein I'm going to do something, try to do something for my soul as well, so that I can also feel that kind of fulfillment uh, feeling. That's correct. So with employees, so moving forward, Ms. Gauri, so with employees becoming more vocal about social and environmental issues, CSR is of course bound to evolve. So looking ahead, what trends do you see shaping the future of CSR and of course employee engagement?
Yeah, so one of the trends we spoke about, I see ESG and CSR connecting. Many organizations have started it already. For us in India, the ESG parameters are in nascent stage. It is happening, but it's happening slowly. So one of the trends I would see this. The second one I would see is in terms of DEI initiatives, because ultimately it's about what your people want. So more and more millennials you have, more and more they would want to talk about it, they would want to work on it. So the as part of ESG, that is DEI, also would be a very good area to work on in future. It's happening, but it will happen even more, is what I believe. I also believe that as we move forward, the engagement would be even more for these initiatives. Maybe there will be a time, some organizations are still doing it even without any CSR obligation, they have it. And maybe as the next generation demands it more and more, you may or may not have an obligation, but you will be doing it. It will happen even more. Like I said, some organizations are also already doing it, but it will happen more. I would also see, I'm also seeing a trend wherein technology is used to measure the impact even more. Because more the impact, better the results, more you would want to spend money on it, whether CSR or beyond. So that is also. The fifth thing would be even more government scrutiny. Scrutiny has increased, it has strengthened the overall system. But I would expect it to be even more because sometimes there may be some loopholes which government continuously tries to plug in, and it is difficult also because sometimes these become very intangible. So how do you bring in a guardrail which ensures that every penny that you are spending is going for the cause that you have taken up? So yes, and like I said, technology would be an enabler. So these trends I would see, but the starting point would be from the demand that you have within the system. People would want to connect with purpose more and more, and that's how the whole cycle would run.
That's correct. That's correct. Multiple things that you have said, DEI, ESG, technology, helping gauging an impact, of course, and government scrutiny is also happening. So, of course, these all are the things that are helping. So, for the benefit of audience, I would request you to, of course, the short forms that you have used, if you can just let the government, let the audience know about the full form of this. As you said, that DEI, that is diversity and inclusion, diversity, equity, inclusion. So, there are some other words also that you had used. If you can just let us know the full form.
Sure.
Quite good.
So, yeah, so diversity, equity, inclusion, we understand. Generally, people don't understand equity. So, I'll bring in a quick example here. The very famous example wherein there is a wall which is 6 feet, and there are three people who are wanting to watch a game happening beyond the wall. One is 3 feet, another one is 6 feet, and the third one is 5 feet. So, the one who is 3 feet, you will give him or her base of 3 feet so that the person reaches, or 3.1 feet, so that the person reaches that place and they can watch the game. The one who's already 6, you may not have to support much, and the one who is 5, the support also would be lesser, but you will give 1.1 or 1 feet so that the person reaches that level and they are able to enjoy the game. So that's what equity, and that's when people say, why do we bring in more initiative for women? Because it is about equity, it's not about equality. We have not reached there. Once we reach there, then we will not have to give any additional push. So in short, E would be giving that additional push which that 3 feet person needs to reach that 6 feet height. Other than that, I spoke about ESG, which is environmental, social, and governance. Environmental is how do we leave the planet after we are gone? How do we leave it for our next generations? So we put in efforts India has already reached 46% level of renewable energy. We are number third in solar energy as well. So we are working a lot in these areas so that the usage of fossil fuel is reduced. We are talking about ethanol, though there is a controversy around it, but the mixture of ethanol in gasoline is because it is less polluting. We are talking about car because we want environment to sustain, and we are planting trees so that we have enough trees to support us. So this is the environmental part. The social part is how do you support the overall society, which includes women, which includes anybody who needs additional support, and we are not leaving men behind also wherever they need support as well. The other genders, it's not only about gender, it is also about the social strata. How are you supporting people who are low in the hierarchy when it comes to social well-being? Are you supporting people who have different kind of neurodiversity? How are you supporting people who are specially able? So any kind of diversity which you can work on the lowest rung of the system so that they also reach the higher level of the society. And finally, the governance. How do we strengthen governance within the organization? Because I believe that if governance is working well, then ENS will always be in place. So having stringent measures for governance as well. The most important factor here is you don't do anything wrong. You rely on ethical behavior, and if you do that, then your G is taken care of. If G is taken care of, then you will do good for your environment and your social obligations as well. So that's what ESG is.
That's correct. That's correct. Thank you so much, Ms. Gauri. I mean, that brings to the end of the show. And I would like to say thanks to you again, Ms. Gauri, for sharing such meaningful insights. So today's conversation reminded us that CSR is not just about giving back, it's about creating purpose and stronger connection at work. So thank you so much, Gauri, and thank you so much, audience. I hope this inspires you to see how every employee can be change maker. Thanks for joining, and see you all next time. And thanks once again, Ms. Gauri, for coming to this show.
Thank you so much, Mayank. I enjoyed having this conversation. I'm looking forward to even more transformation in CSR. I hope our conversation helps people to take some new initiatives. And yeah, have a great day ahead.
Thank you so much, Miss. Bye.
Bye.